Let's begin the important announcement that I requested Fatima to share with all of you yesterday, and she did. From Monday onward, we will be back to the blended teaching, which means half of the students will be studying in person and the rest of the class will be studying online. I will, of course, go to in-person classes, and with that, I will have the half of you online. The same way you will, the online students will receive Zoom links, and for the lecture, the half of the students will be with us in the class. With that, I wanted to tell you that I will not, however, be recording the lectures. When I am in class, it is too much work for me to pay attention to the questions and concerns of online students, to make sure that my both online and off-campus students are on the same page, and also to maintain a stable pace of the course. For this very reason, there will be no more recordings. However, I urge every one of you to please attend classes from June 7, whether online or in person. I have decided this on the basis of another reason that I have observed during the semester, especially in the period of my online teaching. I have observed that the student attendance for some reason has been very low, and I have concerns about that. uh, in every class I will have most, for your section I will have maximum 10, 14, 15 students. However, I know that I have a strength of 35 students in my class. This means that half of the students were absolutely not attending classes. And one of the reasons may be that students know that ultimately there will be a recording of the lecture available on Moodle, and if we miss the lecture, we will see the recording. Shouldn't be a problem. However, this is a problem because in my experience, students tend to accumulate work in that case. I know from the viewership of my recording, on each recording I get maximum 3 views, 4 views, and that is it. And that tells me that students actually do not take the recording seriously too. Either they don't take it serious, or they tend to pile up work. They think, well, recordings are there, we will see them when we are near the exams. I don't think if this is a reasonable approach for learning. It's not exams for which you are here, essentially it's learning for which you are here. For all these reasons, there will not be any more recordings. um, those students who are exclusively studying the semester online, they will well, when they got their online request approved, when they got their online petition approved, they of course had this idea in the mind that they will be exclusively working online, and they committed to the idea that they will be online for the whole semester. And now if those students complain about the availability of connectivity, availability of internet, I don't think if that makes any sense. Well, you committed to online learning because you had access to online resources. For that reason, nobody should come with the excuse of having no access to internet or no access to power. I hope you all understand my point. This is very important for you all to know that no more recorded lectures. Today's lecture is the last recording, and I will upload it soon after I end the class. However, after today, no more recordings. Okay? Now, does anyone have any question about that? All right. If no questions, let me open up my PowerPoint, and then I will begin my lecture. I have only 8 students in class today. And this means that the rest of them are relying on recordings. All right. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Kuratulan. Let's begin. And there is one more thing. In online teaching, that was especially about online teaching. I have asked students many times to turn on their cameras, to keep their cameras on, and still there are many students who do not actually comply to the rule. Whatever is the case, all of you have to now attend the classes, no matter what. We were talking about propaganda model in our last class, and this was the slide where we left. And I was telling you about the idea, about the fact that propaganda model was proposed by 2 scholars. These were their names. I have mentioned only their surnames in my PowerPoint slide. And this was the name of the book, the title of the book, where they proposed propaganda model in the year 1988. We essentially left at the idea that propaganda is a concept that is supposed to be prevalent in countries where democracy is weak, where media faces restrictions, censorship. However, propaganda also exists in developed democracies where apparently one can see that media is free, one can observe the freedom of speech, freedom for journalists, freedom for media houses. However, the situation is quite the contrary. And here we are going to find out how. Noam Chomsky and Herman, in their book, actually, they talked about 5 filters. And they said that the information that gets to audience, it passes through 5 filters. They discussed those filters one by one. Let's discuss with the first filter. The first filter that Chomsky and Herman have discussed is size, ownership, and profit orientation of mass media. I think the idea of profit orientation is really important for us here to consider. First of all, we know that the size of media organizations, let's talk about size. So the size of media organizations is expanding. Since this model was presented in the context of American media, let's talk about American media here. Let's consider the example of Disney production house. You all are familiar with Disney productions. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good. Uh, Now, Disney is a production company that is famous especially for producing animated movies and for motion pictures as well. However, they have their presence in newspapers too. They publish news, they own newspapers, they own radio channels in United States. How many of you have seen, whenever in most Hollywood movies, when a movie begins, it begins with the image of 20th Century Fox? How many of you have seen that?
I have. Yes, ma'am.
Good. So 20th Century Fox is a subsidiary of Disney, which means Disney also owns 20th Century Fox, which is a famous movie production house. They make movies, and they have made many famous Hollywood movies. So this is the size of a production company. This is the size of a media company. Imagine how enormous it is, how expanded it is. They are publishing newspapers, they are broadcasting content on radio channels, they have movie houses, they own famous movie production houses in America, they make animated movies, they make motion pictures, and not only that, they also have theme parks. You must be familiar with the idea of a theme park. It's a kind of an amusement park where people go visit, and they have uh, these sort of rides for children, not only for children, for adults as well, related to their famous movie characters and related to their famous movie places. For example, in Hollywood, sorry, in the in Universal Studios theme park, they have the whole Hogwarts, like the world of Harry Potter. They have Hogwarts castle, they have all the themes inside it. So what I am saying is that think about a single media corporation. They are publishing news, and they are publishing, transmitting, disseminating information from all sorts of channels, from newspapers, from TV channels, from radio channels, from movies, from theme parks as well. By the way, how many of you have heard about theme parks? Disney theme
Um,
park.
yes, I have heard.
Heather Kamal also has heard. He raised his hand. Do you want to say something, Heather? Cora Tulen has also raised her hand. Good job. Gigi, go ahead.
I just raised a hand to tell you that I have.
You
I
have
know
heard
about
about.
theme parks.
Good job. Now, and they have theme park. Disney has its theme parks in LA, Los Angeles, California. They are famous for their theme park in Florida, Orlando. They also have their theme park in Paris, in France. And I once heard from my friend she was from Indonesia, that they also have their theme park in Singapore and maybe in Hong Kong as well.
And in Moscow as well, ma'am.
And in Moscow as well. I wasn't aware about Moscow. Now you see a media organization that has its presence across the world. Padma just pointed out they have one in Moscow. I talked about the one in France. And then my friend told me about theme parks in Singapore and Malaysia. Sorry, Singapore and Hong Kong. A production company that has its presence through its theme parks across the globe. And not only that, their movies are watched internationally. How many of you have watched Disney movies? Almost all of you, I believe. Is that correct?
Not only in my childhood, I still watch them.
Yes, Koratulan has also raised her hand, and many of us. And not only that, like not only motion pictures, they make many sorry, not only
मैम वो
animated movies. Gigi,
सीजन्स भी बना रहे हैं.
yes,
विंटर
that is
सोल्जर
correct.
जो है अभी वो भी डिज्नी प्लस पे है.
Yes, that is correct. Good job, Daud. So we are talking about the size of a media organization, the expansion, their reach. They have international reach. So they own many, I have already told you that they own all sorts of domains of information, starting from newspaper to radio to uh, television to movies to theme parks. So it's like they're everywhere. And then of course they have their profit orientation. They make money out of it. Their commercial motives sometimes exceed their service motives. Well, apparently one can assume that maybe media's job is to serve people, to provide them information, to provide them education, to provide them entertainment, uh, to provide them persuasion and all that. But they are, haven't you ever heard about this idea that Pakistani television channels, they seem more concerned about increasing the ratings of their programs, especially talk shows. So they don't care what content they are broadcasting, they don't care what information they are disseminating. All they want is the rating of their program, so that they can get more advertisers, and ultimately they can bring more money to their media organization. So here comes the profit orientation of mass media. That is first filter for propaganda. Media organizations, they would readily publish the information that is important for them from commercial point of view. In other words, media houses, media organizations will readily publish any information that brings them money. This is what it means. Now, does this all make sense? I wanted to explain it to you before I could explain the information given in the slide. Is this clear to everyone?
Can you give any example?
I actually began from example, Zahra. I began from the example of
Disney, I
Disney.
know.
Yes, but if you want
Other than
example from
Disney.
Pakistani media specifically, I think Pakistani media you can find many examples. The biggest example that comes in my mind is Dunia News. They have their newspaper, they have their TV channel, and they are expanding the reach. And not only that, Dunia organization has actually become a conglomeration. A conglomeration means a big corporation that has its various chains. Now we all know that it's a media house which is owned by a businessman, and he also happened to be the Nazim of the city, Mia Amir Mahmood. He is he owns the TV channel. He not only that, he is in the sector of education as well. He think about University of Punjab and Punjab group of colleges and all the sorts of schools they have in the city, and not only in the city, in the province. And then they began they came in the business of confectionery as well. They began a bakery. Its name was Dose, if you remember. A few years ago, that chain was becoming very popular. So a single organization that has its
Malmo, I
presence.
guess.
I am not sure if Malmo is their subsidiary. I am not sure about that, but Dose was. There was a bakery, Dose. So I was talking about the idea that there is a single corporation. They have their presence in the domain of food, bakery items, confectionery. They have their presence in the domain of education. They have schools, colleges, universities. They have their presence in the domain of media. And now think about their reach and think about their access, their size, their expanded size, and only a single person owns, and then profit orientation. So these people, they have, of course, they will be more concerned about expanding their business. And they, I mean, in such case, you can find examples where media organizations, because of their size and because of their idea of ownership, and also because of their the idea of conglomeration and corporation, they are more concerned about economic gains, instead of expanding the utility of their services. Now, I have given the example as well from local context. When we began discussing propaganda model, I told you, and I keep repeating this, that the model originally was proposed in American context. However, this can be applicable to Pakistani context as well. And I have explained this with the example of Dunia News. You can find many more examples. I think Geo Group also presents another example. They publish newspapers, not only in Urdu, in English as well. In Urdu, they publish Jung, and in English, they publish The News. They publish a family magazine, Akhbar-e-Jahan, which is very famous.
मैम
जी.
ARY भी इसी तरह ही है.
Yes.
उनका
Yes.
जूलर्स का भी है, उसके अलावा
Yes.
AR एंटरटेनमेंट है, उसके अलावा
I
न्यूज़ है.
think Daud, that is a very good example. And I am glad that you are actually using your own analysis and your insights to make sense of all of this. I think many media organizations in Pakistan are turning into conglomerates. They're expanding their sizes. The ownership is just concentrated. There is a single person ownership. And of course, with that, they are also expanding their profit motives. A few years ago, GeoTV, they started making movies as well. And especially their movie Khuda Ke Liye, that became very famous too. So according to Chomsky, Harman and Chomsky, these owners, because of their sizes and because of their profit motives, because of their economic motives, they sometimes tend to disseminate any information which is based on propaganda. Now, consider an example where you see advertisements related to University of Central Punjab, related to Punjab group of colleges. You see excessive advertisement happening on Dunia TV. Like you're watching Dunia TV and you are seeing examples. You are seeing advertisements of UCP and Punjab group of colleges. Now, don't you think, like, if they are doing an exaggerated display of the information that they have, this is actually propaganda, which means they are using their media as a tool to transmit information which expands their profit motives. And similarly, they can also it can also happen that in order to serve their economic gains, their profit motives, they can stop the publication of an information. They don't give an information that they think will not bring them money, although it is important. However, the information is of the kind that doesn't give them any economic gain. In that case, it's quite likely that they won't publish that information. So we see propaganda happening here. Large media organizations at times also happen to be multinational corporations. They can exert pressure on media according to their commercial motives. I'll upload notes for you today. When I upload today's recorded lecture, I will also upload notes. And those notes, you can only read the information that is easier for you. First of all, I should tell you that this is a theory that you will be studying again in MCOM 409, which is an advanced level course for theories. So you will be studying this model again there. Here I am only explaining the basic introductory things. There you will be studying this in detail, in much length. So for the notes, it is okay if you read them, like if you just go through them quickly and you only pick up things that are accessible to you, that are understandable to you. For the details, we can consider them in the next class. In the next course, I mean. Many large media companies are integrated into the market. I gave you the example of Dunia News. They are integrated. Integrated means they are combined with market. For example, Dunia News, I told you that they have their presence in food, they have their presence in education, they have their presence in the sector of media as well. So they have their presence in different domains of market. So of course, their profit motives come first. How they can expand their business, how they can expand their economic gains. All of this actually remains their priority. The control groups have a special stake in status quo. What is status quo? You may have heard this word, status quo. I believe you
Ma'am,
have.
as in their brand image.
Status quo means to keep things in existing order. For example, just to give you a general broad example, those who are rich, they stay wealthy. Those who are wealthy, they stay wealthy because they own the means of production. They own the revenue. And those who are poor, they stay poor because they do not have access to resources. This is status quo. Status quo is you maintain the existing order of things. Like things stay the way they are. This is status quo, to maintain the status quo. We sometimes use this term in the meaning of that, well, business class, elites in Pakistan, they do not want to, they do not want a single curriculum for the whole country. Their children are studying English medium books. The rest of the country is studying Urdu medium, and the elites in the country, they do not want the single curriculum for all children because they want to maintain the status quo. This is the status quo, that you do not want to disturb the existing order. You want things to stay the way they are, if that makes sense. Okay. Does this make sense? So the control groups have a special stake in status quo. Those people who have their presence in corporations, who have their presence in big media corporations, in big business corporations, they also become control groups who have stakes in status quo. They want to maintain status quo. They want to maintain the power of their corporation. They want to maintain the economic growth of their organizations. So why would they publish such a thing that potentially harms their business? In other words, the business becomes more important in terms of size, ownership, and profit orientation. Business becomes more important than the actual role of media. So this is how this filter works as this filter works to restrict information. Lastly, dominant media firms are quite large businesses. We have already discussed the example. Internationally, we discussed the example of Disney, and on national level, we discussed the example of Dunia News. Dominant media firms are quite large businesses. They are controlled by very wealthy people or by managers who are subject to sharp constraints by owners or other commercial oriented gains. This is the same thing that I have been explaining thus far. By the way, all of these quotations, I took them from the book. I'm not asking you to read the whole book. It's only the first chapter of the book, which is, I think, 30 to 35 pages long, that actually describes the whole, all the filters. And I will only upload the first chapter of the book. Okay? Any questions thus far? Does this make sense to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Yes.
Good. All right. Now, second filter, and I leave here because I have 6 minutes left for this class. A second, and after this, we will be left with 3 more filters that we will discuss, inshallah, in our in-person class, and some of you will be online there. Second filter is advertising. Now, advertisers, we know that the main source of income, advertising is actually the backbone of media. This is the main source that provides them revenue. This is the main source that provides them money. Now, advertisers, sometimes, do you think in this case, advertisers can exert pressure on media organizations? Do you think? Do you think that that advertisers are in a position to exert pressure on media organizations?
Yes, ma'am. Might be in some way.
Yes, because advertisers are the ones who are providing them money, who are providing them income, who are providing them revenue. So advertisers can also exert pressure, and that is how advertisers, they work as second filter. Almost all media organizations are heavily dependent on advertisers for their revenue. The advertisers' choices influence media prosperity and survival. Of course, the money is coming from advertisers to media houses. They do not want to offend them. Media organizations, media persons, they wouldn't like to offend advertisers. they wouldn't like to publish an information that offends advertisers or that makes advertisers angry. Or they would of course publish all that information that advertisers want them to publish, because all advertisers are providing them money. That is why we see many times we see advertisements on TV that even become irritating for us because of their frequency or because of the poorly constructed message. Has it ever happened to you that you get irritated to an advertisement?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that has happened to me as well. But of course, media organizations, they are bound to broadcast this information because they are getting paid for that. By the way, on a side note, nowadays there is this advertisement of Sufi cooking oil. I don't feel if that advertisement makes any sense for me. I don't like that advertisement, and I believe you all have seen that advertisement. It's the advertisement of a guy who they show this kind of message that he's coming from abroad after higher education because he gets off from a really lavish car, and then he gets in to a restaurant where a white beard man looks at him with some pride in his eyes, and after that he goes he becomes the master chef of the kitchen of the restaurant. He cooks food in Sufi oil, and the food is liked by everyone. And at the end, the white beard man invites him to enter the hall where customers want to applaud him, and he enters the hall with a nervous face, and he has so much confusion on his face, and he totally doesn't look like the person whom we saw in the beginning, who was getting off a lavish car. That advertisement, I do not know. I feel like it's not clear in many ways, and I don't like that advertisement. And in Ramzan especially, they were playing that advertisement repeatedly, and of course they were getting paid for that. Have you seen that advertisement?
No, ma'am.
You have not? All right. Anyways, with that, I am ending today's class. We are still left. I was hoping to finish this model today, but I could not. I felt like I actually needed to explain each and everything to you in detail, and that's okay. We will finish. We are already finishing up with a very good speed. So we will finish the rest of this model. 3 more filters are left, and then we'll finish this model. We'll finish this inshallah in next class. And I hope to see many of you in person.
Inshallah, ma'am.
All right. Thank you and goodbye.
Please.